Long retired from the ocean, the RMS Queen Mary rests in Long Beach, California, her towering presence a monument to the golden age of transatlantic travel. Once a luxury liner, later a World War II troopship, and now a floating hotel, she is no ordinary vessel. From a distance, she seems peacefully anchored. But those who board her speak of something else entirely, a chilling energy that permeates every corridor. A silence so thick it hums in your ears. Her empty decks creak under phantom footsteps. Cold spots dance through sealed rooms. It's as though the ship has a memory, and it refuses to forget. This is where our story begins, not with a scream, but with an eerie stillness that warns, this ship has secrets, and they're dying to surface. Among the many deaths aboard the Queen Mary, none are more infamous than what happened at door 13. Deep within the engine room, crewman John Petter was tragically crushed during a routine drill. Accounts say he was caught as the heavy watertight door slammed shut, instantly fatal. Since then, this steel passage has gained a reputation for being cursed. Visitors claim to see a shadowy figure lurking near the door, often described as wearing blue overalls and a beard, matching Petter's description. Some have even reported the door moving on its own, with sudden slams echoing through the metallic chambers. But strangest of all, cold, greasy handprints that appear on the door, then vanish before anyone can wipe them away. Whatever happened here didn't end with the accident, it awakened something that never left. The Queen Mary's first-class swimming pool was once the epitome of elegance, gilded fixtures, polished tiles, and laughter echoing off the walls. Today, it sits dry and decaying, but the echoes remain. Guests and employees alike have reported the unmistakable sound of splashing water, even though the pool hasn't held water in decades. Apparitions of women in vintage 1930s swimsuits have been seen walking the balcony or diving into the empty basin, only to vanish before reaching the floor. One spirit, known only as Jackie, is said to be a little girl who drowned here during a voyage. Visitors say she giggles, hums songs, and even responds to questions, especially near the locker rooms. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained voices, footsteps, and temperature drops so severe that frost formed on their equipment. The pool may be dry, but the energy here is drowning in the past. In the Queen Mary's former first-class lounge, now a quiet ballroom frozen in time, guests have reported a ghostly vision, a woman in a flowing white gown, gliding across the floor as if music still fills the air. They call her the Lady in White, though no one knows her name or how she died. Some say she was a passenger in love, separated from her partner by war. Others believe she was a performer who never left the stage. Witnesses describe seeing her twirl in slow, sorrowful circles, her feet never touching the ground. Sometimes, an unseen orchestra plays just a few notes, then silence. Staff have chased the music only to find the room empty. She never speaks. She never stops. And always, disappears before the lights can find her. Whatever story she lived in life, she's reliving it now, over and over again, a dance for no one but the dead. Tucked away in the Queen Mary's history is a forgotten nursery once used by first-class families. The room still holds remnants of its past, dusty dolls, faded wallpaper, and a tiny crib that hasn't held a child in decades. Yet many say the room is far from empty. Visitors have heard the sound of a baby crying faintly through the walls, even when the ship is nearly deserted. Some claim the rocking chair moves on its own, slowly, as if soothing a child no longer there. Others have seen toys slide across the floor by unseen hands. The most chilling reports come from those who feel a sudden, overwhelming sadness upon entering, like a grief too old to understand. No records confirm a child ever died here, but spirits don't always leave paperwork. Whatever lingers in this nursery is young, restless, and waiting for someone to play with. The engine room of the Queen Mary is a maze of steel and shadow, once the mechanical heart of the mighty ship. It's also one of its most feared locations. Engineers who worked the space during its years at sea reported strange sightings, shadows that moved against the direction of the light, and figures peering out from behind pipes, only to vanish. Today, even seasoned tour guides hesitate to linger. Guests describe the sensation of being watched, followed, or brushed by icy fingers. Some even claim they've seen a man step out from the darkness only to dissolve before their eyes. The ship's rumbling past seems to echo through these narrow corridors. Machinery may be silent now, but something still stirs down here, something restless, hidden in the dark. The deeper you go, the less certain you are that you're alone. There's a hallway on the Queen Mary that seems to stretch longer than it should, as if the ship's layout shifts when no one is looking. Guests walking through late at night often report hearing soft footsteps behind them, echoing just out of sync. Turn around, and no one's there. Security cameras once caught a blurry, humanoid shape hovering mid-air for several seconds before flickering out, no sound, no explanation. Some have felt something brush past them, cold, sudden, and invisible. The hallway seems to warp time, with one guest claiming they walked through it for 10 minutes, though it only takes 30 seconds. No specific spirit is tied to this corridor. It's not one ghost, it's a pathway they seem to use. A place where past and present press up against each other like the hull of a ship against the ocean tide. Perhaps the most infamous spirit aboard the Queen Mary is that of John Petter, a young crewman who met his tragic end at door 13. He was crushed by the massive watertight door during a routine drill in 1966. Since then, door 13 has become the epicenter of chilling reports. Witnesses claim to see a figure in blue overalls walking the corridor near the engine room, vanishing right before reaching the door. Others have felt cold gusts rush past them as the door groans, though it's been locked for years. Some even say they've spoken with a kind man named John who guides them, only to realize there's no crew on duty. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained knocks and disembodied voices around the area. Whether he's stuck in a tragic loop or simply refuses to leave his post, one thing is certain: John Petter still walks the Queen Mary. The ship's first-class swimming pool is perhaps the Queen Mary's most notorious haunted location. Though it has been closed for decades, it still hums with residual energy, echoes of a time when laughter once bounced off its tiled walls. But now, those echoes feel wrong. Guests report the sounds of splashing water, footsteps circling the pool, and even giggling, though the space is bone dry. Apparitions of women in vintage bathing suits have appeared near the changing rooms, only to vanish when approached. Most unsettling of all is the small girl seen at the pool's edge. They call her Jackie. She's been heard calling for her parents. Some believe she drowned here. Others think she followed a loved one onto the ship and never left. Her voice, recorded many times, pleads in whispers, "Can you help me?" The pool is empty, but its ghosts are not. She appears in silence, elegant, radiant, and forever alone. Known only as the Woman in White, this apparition has been spotted gliding across the Queen Mary's ballroom, her dress billowing without wind. She moves as if in a dance no one else can hear. Staff have reported seeing her in mirrors, dancing alone, eyes closed, hands outstretched toward an invisible partner. Guests have heard soft music begin to play from the old speakers when no system was active. Some say she was a bride, abandoned before her wedding at sea. Others believe she lost her beloved during wartime and has returned to the last place they danced. Her presence is gentle but undeniably eerie, a lingering grace trapped in time. Step into the ballroom at night, and you might just catch a glimpse of her swaying beneath the fading light. Below decks, where the ship's hum is deafening and the air is thick with age, a phantom crew member is said to haunt the lower levels. His figure has been spotted in various parts of the ship, always dressed in the same 1930s-era crew uniform, his face obscured by shadow. Witnesses describe the sound of boots echoing behind them as they walk these winding corridors. When they turn, there's no one there. Others have heard the voice of a man giving orders, but when they approach, it's only silence. Paranormal investigators have attempted to communicate with this spectral crewman, only to capture strange, unintelligible radio interference. His presence is subtle, like a ghost that never quite leaves the ship, as though he's still working, still part of the crew, even though his time has passed. Perhaps he's just forgotten to clock out. Throughout the Queen Mary, there are places where the air grows unnervingly cold. One of the most intense cold spots is located near the first-class cabins, an area usually warm and well-kept. Guests entering this passageway report an immediate drop in temperature, their breath visible in the air, even on the hottest of days. In some instances, a mist forms around them, dissipating just as quickly as it appeared. Staff members have felt icy fingers brush against their arms and have seen their breath cloud in front of them. The cold is so intense that it's been described as unnatural. Some believe it's the restless spirit of a former passenger, while others think it's a pocket of energy, frozen in time, tied to an event long past. Whatever it is, the cold is unmistakable. A reminder that some presences don't need heat to make their mark. The Queen Mary is filled with whispers, soft, unintelligible murmurs that rise from the walls themselves. It's in the lower decks where these voices are most often heard. Guests walking alone down these narrow hallways have described the distinct feeling of being followed. The whispers seem to come from all directions, but when they try to listen closely, they can't make out a single word. Some have said they hear names called, or phrases that trail off as if in conversation with someone who isn't there. The whispers grow louder in certain spots, especially around the old crew quarters. Paranormal investigators have recorded disembodied voices responding to questions, often unintelligible, but with a tone of familiarity, like the ship's past speaking directly to those willing to listen. There's a room aboard the Queen Mary that has become infamous for its unsettling history, the bloodstained bed. Guests who have stayed in this room report waking up to find blood-like stains on the sheets, though no one recalls any injuries. Some claim that during the night, they've felt the weight of someone sitting beside them or heard the sound of someone breathing, even though no one else is there. The room has a chilling, uncomfortable atmosphere, almost as though it holds on to something dark. There are rumors that the room is linked to a tragic event during the ship's wartime service when a crew member was fatally attacked in their sleep. Though the stains are always cleaned, they reappear mysteriously. Some believe the restless spirit of that crew member still haunts this room, looking for justice, or perhaps just seeking a peaceful rest. The engine room is where the heartbeat of the Queen Mary once pulsed, its massive engines now silent, yet still, it feels alive. Shadows move between the pipes, and the temperature fluctuates, as though unseen hands are tampering with the equipment. Guests and staff alike have reported the sight of a tall, shadowy figure lurking in the dim light, only to have it disappear when they try to approach. Some say it's the spirit of a worker who died during a tragic accident in the engine room. Others think it's something more, perhaps a residual energy left behind by years of toil and hardship. The sound of metal clanking and faint whispers have been recorded here. Though the ship may be docked, the engine room continues to hum with the spirits of those who once worked tirelessly below deck. The Queen Mary's legacy is filled with stories of the restless dead, echoes from a time long past, lingering in every corner of the ship. Whether it's the whispered voices in the lower decks or the flickering lights in the ballroom, the spirits aboard the Queen Mary have made their presence known. Some come for the thrill of the unknown, while others never left, bound to the ship by untold tragedies. The Queen Mary is a place where history and the paranormal collide. So, next time you find yourself near the ship, take a moment. Listen closely, you might hear the whispers of its ghosts calling you to stay. For more true horror stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Only True Horror, and check the description below for the source of today's chilling tale. Until next time, stay haunted.